This video is being brought to you by Freedom Garage. Hey y'all, this is Dan from Freedom Garage, and today, instead of being out in the shop working on some car stuff, I'm working in our garage with some old school electronics, getting into some receivers. Got an old Nico receiver right here, and I also have this old Kenwood turntable. It's a linear tracking. I had a linear tracking back when I was in high school, way back in the 80s. And got this thing, but it wasn't working when I got it. But I wanted to share some things about it, just for those of you all that might have one or are working on it and want to resurrect an old one. There's some good deals. You can find these out. It's a really cool turntable I'm finding out. So it wasn't the one I had. I had a JVC, what was it, a QLL2. This is a Kenwood KD65F. Again, linear tracking. I'll go ahead and power it on here. And right now it is working, doing what it's supposed to do. So there's no needle on it. I've got one on order, but you can see when I push this button, the stylus picks up, starts to go, and drops. Again, there's no needle on there, but it would then start playing that record. I can lift it up, I can go left, I can go right, and then I can actually turn off and it returns. It was not doing any of that when I got it. So one of the problems I had with it was this back here, there's a cable, a tone arm cable that was broken. In fact, here it is. So, and I scoured the internet, could not find anything, who made it, replacement parts, whatever. So I ended up having to fashion a new one, and I want to share that. So let me take this platter off, set that aside, and here you can see that cable going around. What happens is it hooks to the tone arm carousel or plat, I wouldn't say platter, but this this whole thing device right here slides with the tone arm. It hooks onto that and goes around a pulley underneath that tone arm and goes across, goes around the motor drive pulley twice, and then connects to a spring right here that is connected again to this trolley, if you want to call it. This trolley rides on this bar, this silver bar back here. And again, my whole assembly was broken. That cable was broken. So what, at the suggestion of my wife, I first tried some string. I tried some other things that were a little bit thicker, but what was happening is on this pulley, there's a switch back here. And so if we start this again, drive it here, get this thing to come over, right back here, there's a off switch. And so when that whole trolley is coming back, when you start it, that switch will turn the motor off. So you can see it hits that switch, turns that motor off right there, which is driving the whole thing. With the friction that had the string on it, there was no friction enough to pull that trolley over to hit the switch, so the motor would just keep going forever. So you needed something, a cable that had enough friction that would actually pull that. And my wife suggested we go to Hobby Lobby and try and find something. And what worked was this cord that you use to make, I guess, jewelry or bracelets or whatever. It's got some friction on it. I think it might have, it's waxed or something. But I ended up making a loop, putting it around the trolley. There's a hook down there going around this pulley on the right, going all the way across, winding it around twice, and then coming in and tying it very securely onto that spring, the trolley spring. And it's been operating ever since, so I'm very thrilled about that. The one thing that I wanted to share was related around this motor. So this is a direct drive motor, which is pretty cool. I know there's all sorts of internet banter back and forth as which better, whether it's a direct drive or a belt drive or whatever. But this is a direct drive unit. And when I was taking the plow off one of the times, this actual spindle came out or came up. And so I took it and put it aside. What I hadn't realized, and this is one reason why I'm making this video I wanted to share, is that there's actually a ball bearing on top of that spindle top. And that's just a ball bearing that holds this spindle in place. I was actually surprised to find out that there's actually not a motor. From what I can tell, I'm not an electronics genius or anything like that, but this is not, there's no motor below this. You just have basically a riser about this high, and then you have the base of the unit. So there's not a motor down there. What this appears to be is, this is a magnet, and it appears that this is almost like a mag-leaf. At least, again, from my my unexpertise electronics mind. So, but if you're taking this apart, just make sure you have that ball bearing, because if you don't, this magnet is going to plop right down on top of that board, and it's not going to work. You need that ball bearing to go ahead and lift up this spindle. Well, you can see it even fell out. So this ball bearing is very easy to get out of the way. So this is probably a good demonstration of what you want to avoid. But it took me a half hour to figure this out. The internet did not say anything about this, again, while I'm making the video. So if you put that back in place, and then that spindle will hover there just enough for the board to run the magnet to then energize that magnet and spin it. So we'll go ahead and I'll show you that. We'll put the plier back on. And again, we'll just hit start. Again, the plier runs and the record would start. So I hope this helps somebody. Again, it took me a long time to figure that out. Whether it's again, this cord for your tone arm, or if it's that ball bearing. I hope this helps somebody with their Kenwood KD65F. If you all have any comments, go ahead and write them below. And if you like what I did, go ahead and like the video or subscribe. And I appreciate y'all watching. Have a good day. This how-to video was brought to you by Freedom Garage. Freedom Garage is a charitable ministry that loves on God's people through cars. We specialize in oil changes and basic vehicle maintenance for single moms, widows, seminary students, retirees on fixed incomes, clergy, and missionaries. Our goal is to become a self-sustaining charity through social media by telling stories and creating how-to videos to help others. Please consider supporting us by subscribing to this YouTube channel and checking out the affiliate links in the video description. You can also follow our Instagram page at freedom_garage_KY.